Hey everyone, my name is Jan. We're not gonna get into this is Yu-Gi-Oh's course, so we're just gonna get straight into it. So let's begin. So we've got a lot of cards, but I'm not gonna cover them all. I'm gonna cover the ones that I know already. Sorry if this is going really fast. First we have Zexal Wing, Silith Wings. So if you control one Zexal weapon, you can only control one Zexal weapon, Silith Wings. You can target one Utopia monster you control, equal to this. Equip this card from your hand or field to the grid as an equipped spell. It gives it 800 attack. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster by activating effect, and basically your equipped monster gains 1,600 attack. If a monster would use its effect by detaching a material, you can attach this card instead. So again, Utopia support, that's good. Next we have Zexal Servant, Ouroboros Sage. When this card is normal summon, you can activate this effect. You can declare one attack for the rest of the turn. This turn, also special one non-light number monster from your graveyard, but negate its effects. And if you do, equip both this and one Utopian monster you control to the monster as an equipped spell, and it gives it 1,700 attack. When the monster equipped with the card by this effect declares an attack to an opponent's monster, its attack doubles until the end of the phase, and then it gets destroyed. So that's not bad. It's good for Utopia support. Next we have Zexal Catapult. Special on one Zexal weapon or Zexal Servant monster from your hand. Then if you do control a Utopia monster, you can have all face-up monsters you control become either level 4 or 5. If this card is in the graveyard, except this turn, it was sent there, you can banish this and add this card and one Zexal weapon or Zexal Servant from your graveyard. Target one monster your opponent controls. Destroy it. You can activate each effect of Zexal Catapult once per turn. That's not bad. Again, Zexal weapons are good. Anyway, next we have White Steed, the Flora Knights. If you control a level 2 or lower monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense mode. You can only special summon one White Steed, the Flora Knights once per turn this way. When your opponent monster declares an attack, however, you can banish this card from the graveyard and target one card you control, negate the attack, and if you do, destroy the targeted card. You can only use each effect of White Steed, the Flora Knights once per turn. So this is not bad. This works for a lot of I'm guessing this will work for a lot of level 2s, so yeah, even level 1s. Next we have Syncro Dilemma. This is a continuous spell card. You can activate one of these effects. Send one Synchro monster from your hand to the graveyard, or Synchro monster from your hand to the graveyard, or face up on the field to the graveyard, and special summon one monster from your hand. Or its other effect, you can target one other card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon one Synchro monster with a different original name that was destroyed than the destroyed card from your hand or graveyard. You can only activate each effect of Syncro Dilemma once per turn. So it's not bad to get Synchro monsters out. I can think of drunk Synchro players. Next we have Soul Binding Gate. Activate this card if you control no cards and a set spell or trap card you control was destroyed by battle. Adds to the word's activation effect for a field spell. During the main phase, if you have exactly one monster with lower attack than your life points, which is pretty much nearly every monster, and zone Z1 in your graveyard, destroy the monster, and if you do, take 100 damage, then inflict your 800 damage to your opponent. That's weird. It's not really good anyway. Next we have Sage Deflare. This is a level 8 Dark Spellcaster. You can target one monster you control and one card on the field. Special summon this card, and if you do, destroy the targeted card. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one other monster in your graveyard, shuffle into deck, then add one level 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand. Deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only activate each effect of Sage Deflare once per turn. That's not really bad. It works well with plant monsters, and I can see it with Black Rose and the Rose archetype. Next we have Noble Knight Spearholder. This is a warrior monster. That's level 2, so this works with White Steed, the Flora Knights. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one level 8 or lower monster you control until the end of this turn. Its name becomes Fleur Synchron. Also, it is treated as a tuner. You can target one card. You contribute this card to add one equipped spell from your deck to your hand. You can only activate each effect of Noble Knight Spearholder once per turn. That's not really bad for a level 2, it works well. Next we have White Noble Knight, Shieldbearer. This is level 4, so this doesn't work with it. However, it can work with the rest of the archetype. This card is normal special. You can target one banish light monster from your graveyard. Draw one card. You can banish this card from your graveyard and from your hand or field, and add one level 6 or lower wind beast monster from your deck to your hand. You can use each effect of Noble Knight Shieldbearer as effect once per turn, only once per turn. So it's got a hard once per turn effect, but I see why it's a good monster. Next we have Necrosync. This is a machine tuner monster that looks like Deflare Synchron. This card's name becomes Fleur Synchron while it's on the field or in the graveyard. You can only activate each effect of the following effects of Necrosync once per turn. You can target one other monster you control. It increases level by 2 until the end phase. Excuse me. Of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a wind synchro monster, you can special summon one level 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can see it working. Also, I apologise for the noise and stuff. Skip throughout most of these because I don't know most of them. Next we have Live Twins Troublestone. Basically, this card is activated. You can add one live twin monster from your deck to your hand. While you control evil twin monster, which is only one off, each time your opponent normal special summons, you can gain 2,000 life points, and if you do, inflict 200. Gain 200 life points, and if you do, inflict 200 life points of damage. So this limits his. So I'm guessing you can see a lot of people playing the live twins if they know their opponents are going to be special summoning a lot. So that works. That works really well, surprisingly. I'm jealous. Next we have Utopia Ray. So this is just another Utopia, but it's level 5. Requires 3 level 5 monsters. This card is always treated as number 39 Utopia Ray. Once per turn, you can attach one material from this card, equip one Zexal weapon from your deck or extra deck to this card, and if you were equipped by its own effect, this activation, the effect cannot be negated. Interesting. Once per turn, while this card is equipped with a Zexal weapon monster card, quick effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate the attack, negate it, and if you do, half its current attack. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good saying that. Next we have Horse of the Flora Knights. This is a beast monster. When this card is normal special summoned, you can add one light noble knight monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate each effect of Horse of the Flora Knights once per turn. Once per turn, you can fusion one fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control, and one other monster from your hand or field as fusion material. That's pretty good. I mean, it helps bring out the Centaur one, so that makes sense. Next we have Flora de Fleur. Activate this card by targeting one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but negate its effects. Also equip this card. Negate its effect. Also equip it to this card. Anyway, when this card leaves the field, however, destroy the monster. The equipped monster gains 700 attack. If this card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can equip this card to a synchro monster you control. You can only use each effect of Borris de Fleur once per turn. You can only activate one Borris de Fleur once per turn, so only one can be activated per turn, but hey, that works, that's fine. And I can see this with the Fleur Synchron. Anyway, next we have Elko the Zone. You can play, if this turn, place summon exactly one monster. During that, destroy the monster, and if you do, the controller of the monster special summons one mask token. Spellcaster dot level 1. 0 attack, 0 defense. If this to the field, this token's attack and defense becomes attack and defense of the destroy monster that was on the field, but it cannot attack directly, which is unfortunate. You can only use this effect of Elko the Fleur, Elko the Zone once per turn. If the face-up card leaves the field, destroy all mass tokens on the field. Yeah, makes sense. Next we have Cinetomina. So this is a fusion monster. It requires 1 light warrior monster and 1 beast monster. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a trap card during this turn, negate the trap card. And if you do, set that card face down. I don't know how to feel about that. You can only use each of the following effects of Cinetomina once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 or 2 low monster from your hand or graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a wind warrior monster, you can destroy 1/2 face-up monster on the field. I guess that makes sense. Like, I don't like its first effect, because it gives your opponent more ways to then activate the trap card a different turn. Especially, but I mean, I guess it helps if people play like Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Next we have Borris de Fleur. This is a level 10 wind monster. It requires 1 tuner, 1 non-tuner monster. Once per turn, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Once while face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated, a quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Borris de Fleur once per turn. Baroness de Fleur, that's how you say it, once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target 1 level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard. Return this card to the extra deck, and you do special summon that monster. I mean, it depends what you bring it back. But it's not really good. You're switching out a 3000 attack beat stick for something else, and it doesn't work with ranks anyway, since it requires to be a level monster. Next we have Synchro Overtake. Reveal 1 Synchro monster in your extra deck, and if you do, add to your hand or special summon 1 of the Synchro materials whose name is specifically listed on the card from the deck or graveyard. You can only activate 1 Synchro Overtake per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. This turn, you activate this effect except Synchro monsters. So this helps to bring out Synchro monsters mostly. So I can see like a Junk Destroyer play, maybe? Anyway, it won't work with most Synchro decks, however. I think it's trying to focus on the Synchrons more. So that's not bad. Next we have Lyricalis Prom Frush? Yeah. It's a rank 1 winged beast monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. It requires 2 or more level 1 monsters. Kariba? Maybe? Kariba question mark? Gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card and target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. Shuffle it to the deck. At the start of the damage step, if another monster you control battles, you can attach any number of materials from this card. Your battling monsters gain 300 attack for each material attached during the end of this turn. That's actually really good. Because what's it? If you bring out like something like Relinquish with Instant Fusion, and then find a way to get out of the level 1s, you can special summon to get like, what's it? Like 3000 attack level 1 monster? That's pretty good. Next we have Lyricalis Ensemble Robin. This is the same, rank 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. All Lyrics have 0 attack, but gain attack equal for every overload, every material they have. It's got obviously same 5000 attack. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card. That targeted monster, the target 1 monster returned it to the hand. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can target 1 Lyric monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So it's recycling basically. That's pretty good. It's pretty good for a Lyrics. Next we have Lyrics Celestia Wagtail. It's level 1 monster. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Lyric spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Lyrics monster, Xyz monster you control, and attach this card as material. You can only special summon, you can only use each effect of Lyric Cellar Wagtail once per turn. bad. Lyrics actually somehow being decent. Next we have Lyrics Birds of Feathers. Target one Lyrics monster you control. The attack of all monsters your opponent controls. Current attack becomes the target monster's attack. Also, their levels / rank becomes 1. When the opponent's monster declares an attack on a Lyrics monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. The battling monster attack becomes the opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Lyrics Birds of the Feather once per turn. Why Lyrics actually becoming decent? They're like Raid Raptors basically, but don't go up in ranks. Next we have Lyrics Bird Sanctity. You can target 2 winged beasts of these monsters you control. Attack one of them and all materials to the other as material. If you control an exceeds material 3 or more materials, you can draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Lyrics Bird Sanctity once per turn. Oh my god, Lyrics. Lyricalis, they're becoming good. I've been waiting to see this. To be honest, I'm not even joking. Next we got Lyricalis Barely Canary. Basically, if this card is in your hand, you can special summon 1 Lyrics monster from the graveyard. Both this card and the targeted card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck apart from Xyz monsters. You can only use each effect of Lyrics Barrier Carony once per turn. All wind monsters that were special summoned using this card on the field as material effect this card gains 200 attack. Also, possessor of this card cannot switch. So that means if they try to take that monster, they won't be able to take it. That's pretty good. Next we have Diagusto Ramparica. This is a psychic monster. Requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner Gusto monster. You can only special summon this monster once per turn. If this card is Sync Summon, you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon monsters from the rest of the turn except wind monsters. Also special 2 Gusto monsters, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck, but negate their effects. Then immediately after this effect is resolved, Synchro Summon 1 Gusto Synchro monster using those 2 monsters your opponent control. Your opponent cannot target other Gusto monsters you control with this effect. God, that's a mouthful, but I'm going to say this again. Gusto monsters just aren't good enough. They're not really good for competitive play. I don't think anyone will ever use a Gusto monster. Especially because this monster is restricted to the archetype. It doesn't help, so I'm sorry, Gustos. Also, your effects are really bad, so I apologize. Next we have Stall Turn. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated that would negate the summon of a monster or activation of a spell and trap card, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Boy, I guess this is a way to counter Ash Blossom and stuff like that, but do you really have to banish top 3 of your cards just to do that? Like, that's not really good. But I guess it's... Plus, you just shuffle it back into their deck, which then just makes it more of a chance for them to activate it during the next turn, if they ever draw it again. And most people play, like, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, so... Not really a good job there, unfortunately. Sorry. Next we have Slower Swallow. This is a level 1 monster. If 2 or more monsters with the same level are on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Slower Swallow once per turn. This way, you can tribute this card, draw 2 cards instead of 1 card, instead of 1 of your normal draws during your next draw phase. I mean, that kind of works with, what's it, Lyric? Basically the wing girls that look like harpies. But I guess you don't have to go into an XE summon with this monster, so that's fair, Next we have Papariza, Paparazzi Dispariza. This is a Fiend Link 2 monster, and it only has 100 attack. It requires 2 effect monsters, however. When your opponent's other monsters is targeted for an attack, you can change the attack target to this card and perform damage calculations. When this card you control is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, you can destroy the opponent's monster, and if you do, gain life points equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. That's not bad. I mean, it works because you're not taking damage, you're just increasing your own life points, and that would work for a raw deck. However, it's only half the attack, and you're changing one attack target to another. But you do get rid of another monster on your opponent's monster, so that's not bad. And we've got quite a few left that I'm pretty good with the effects, and in the next episode you can use, which will be episode 5, I'll read the rest. Next we have Master Model Diplomat. Yeah, Diplomat. It's a machine level 5 monster. You can tribute this card. If this card is tribute summoned, you can target one monster in your graveyard and one face-up monster your opponent controls. You equip that monster from the graveyard to an opponent's monster while a monster is equipped to this card to it by this effect. It loses attack equal to the equipped monster's attack. If your opponent's monster equips with an equipped card, you cannot activate this effect. Okay, so it's kind of like if you have basically let me start at 1 again. Equipped cards aren't played as often as they would. So I can see this being pretty good. Especially for like it being level 5 but only having 2000 attack. But even if so, it can be a 2000 wall defense wall as well. So that's not bad, that's not bad. Next we have Margin Trade. Your opponent can discard one card to negate this effect, which is pretty hard for meta. Otherwise, both players look at their opponent's cards and choose one card for it. Then they add that chosen card to their hand, opponent to their hand. You can only activate Margin Trade once per turn. So it's like exchange, but you can negate it. That's all it is. What? So you can negate this, but exchange is better. I swear. It's just another exchange copy card, but it's just bad. Next we have Jar of Generosity. Place one card from your hand to the top or bottom of your deck. You're just a copy of Jar of Greed, and that's better. You're just a copy of Jar of Avarice, but that's a lot better because you get to draw a card. You put 5 cards back into your deck and draw one card. You like that other part of thingy, one of the spell card version of it. I'm done. Next we have Exoskeleton Dragon Garimia. So you can target it basically 1 tuner or 1 non-tuner monster. If you contribute this card and target 3 other synchro monsters in your graveyard, return them to the extra deck. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck. Equip this card from your graveyard to it. When a monster is equipped with this card, declares an attack, you can draw 1 card. Okay, so basically, your opponent either has the 2 choices. Either attack, you get to draw a card. They don't attack, you don't draw a card. So I guess it helps them to think about what they should do more, and if they can negate the effect. Most likely they can't. Next we have Azeroth Monsters. Reveal 1 normal monster and 1 non-effect, 1 normal monster and 1 effect monster with the same type, attribute, and level from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one of them to add to your hand, and if you do, shuffle the other monster back into the deck. So it's basically a pickle mix. Basically a pick and mix. I guess that's okay, to an extent. I don't think I could see it competitively though. That's a shame. Next we have As Master of the Beast Pleases. This is a continuous trap card, and this is actually kind of interesting because of the art style. So once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if your monster battles an opponent's monster in the same column, you can return all cards your battling monster column to the hand. You can only activate this effect of as the master of the beast pleases once per chain. So this actually helps get rid of back row cards that obviously return it back to the hand, but it means you don't have to deal with that problem. So that means you can do a direct attack. Also, this kind of just like tells the story of the master of the beast as well, doesn't it? Because it doesn't explain like anything about it, but throughout the other artworks of beast cards that equipped or have him in it, they explain a bit more of his story, so that's interesting. And next we have Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Oh boy. Target one tuner monster and one non-tuner Clear Wing monster. So basically Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Clear Wing Fast Dragon. Anyway, once per turn, your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect. You make this card gain attack equal to the opponent's monster's original attack until the end of this turn, and if you do, this card is unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects this turn. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, the quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. If this Synchro Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add a 1-win monster from your deck to your hand. We have to deal with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon already, and you give us this. Ah, boy. I hope to not ever see this competitively. The last one I know of is this one, Cyber Dark Invasion. This is a continuous trap card. As you know, I've explained about what Cyber Darks are, and from my last episode of Yu-Gi News. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Target one Cyberdark effect monster you control. Equip one dragon or machine monster from either graveyard to it as an equip spell. It gives it 100 attack. 1000 attack. Send one equipped monster card from you control equipped to a machine monster to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy your opponent's cards. Destroy your opponent's controls. One card your opponent controls. You can activate each effect of Cyber Dark Invasion once per turn. Cyber Darks, I'm gonna hate seeing them in the future. Like, I do like the archetype. I'm just gonna hate seeing it. So that's it for Yu-Gi News. I will do the rest of all these because these all deserve a different episode. But for now, you just get a sneak peek of all that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. I'm not going to have fun with these. But, oh well. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.